I Am Here, Postcards from the Edge, is a project that myself and Solo Chicken Productions got involved in 2023. Riverstone Recovery Center in Fredericton, New Brunswick is a treatment center downtown Fredericton. For those of you familiar with Fredericton, it's right beside Victory Meat Market, which we all know and love. Dr. Sarah Davidson reached out and asked if I would be interested in developing a project with the specific goal of fostering compassion in the community for the clients of the center, and for folks who are experiencing homelessness and for folks who are experiencing substance use disorder. That was the goal of the project. So we had some chats, we talked about who the clients are, and I went away and did some brainstorming, and I came back to Dr. Davidson and the team saying, I think I have something. I wanted a project that would be quiet and intimate, that wouldn't put a lot of strain on the participants, because these are folks who are already dealing with all kinds of things in their life. So a high-profile theater performance or like something where they were going to really be public and on the spot, that wasn't going to do the trick. So I thought about postcards. And postcards, I love to get mail, and I love beautiful small things that you can hold in your hand. And I thought, what if we created beautiful postcards that could be mailed to people, that could be given to people, that could be shared, physically handed to people, and that they featured the clients of the center. So that was the initial idea, and then it grew. Of course, I brought in Kelly Baker, because Kelly is an amazing photographer. We all know this. So I asked Kelly if she would like to be part of the project, because her ability to capture the essence of a person and to let their light, I feel like she took my daughter, so we did family pictures with her, and my daughter's really shy, and she got my daughter's light to shine. And I was like, if you can get Isis Brennan's light to shine in a photograph, you can do that for everyone. And so we brought Kelly Baker on board. And David Porter, who's an incredible visual artist, he had already been working with the clients and doing these unbelievably gorgeous oil portraits of some of the clients. So David kind of came on. David's just been continuing his own work, but has been a part of it. And then my role was to go once a week. I went down to Riverstone, got to know folks. I set up a little room, got some snacks on the go, because that's always great. Icebreaker, put some art supplies out, and just started to get to know people and think about, okay, how are we going to share the essence of people's stories on these postcards? So we tried some different things, and eventually we settled on this really lovely poetry format called I Am From. And we would sit together and eat and talk, drink coffee, and have a conversation. And I would take a lot of notes, and then we would together, or sometimes they would ask me. They'd say, actually, could you put this together for me? You use I am from, and then we use this conversation to create a poem. And that's what's featured on the other side of the postcard. So on one side you have this portrait from Kelly Baker of the individual, and on the other side this poem, that the goal was for that poem to be just a little window into the humanity of that person, right? So that art projects are so wonderful, because you start with the kernel of an idea and then they evolve as you work with participants and an organization. And so the first goal was these postcards, but as we began to work with Kelly, and we discovered that David had these large, beautiful oil paintings, we thought, and public exhibitions, like art exhibitions, would be a great addition, where people could interact with these in a sort of bigger way. So what people will see is there'll be groupings of portraits and poems together. There'll be some groupings of portraits, poems, and an oil painting. So some folks like Alan Griffin, we have a beautiful poem from Alan. We have a gorgeous oil painting that David did of Alan. And then we have a portrait from Kelly Baker Groupings. And then, and this was how things evolved, when Kelly came to the Riverstone Recovery Center and set up like a portrait studio, a lot of people who, maybe they'd pop by and chatted with me, but their lives didn't allow them to, really connect fully to writing a poem, or they were intrigued by the portraits, especially after we did one sitting. And then I decided I'm going to print a bunch of copies and just bring them in so people can see them. And a lot of people went, can I have my portrait done? And we thought, well, obviously the answer is yes, 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 if this is interesting to you. So I didn't want to be like, well, no, you only if you're writing a poem with me. So we just let anybody who wanted their portrait taken. And I think I'll note that, like, for many of these folks who are experiencing homelessness, their holding on to belongings is a daily challenge, right? Things are destroyed, things are stolen, things are lost. And so, you and I have photo albums, and I have my phone, and I have photos everywhere. But for some of these folks, they haven't had like photos like this, a portrait, in a long time. So they were special. And we got to do some things like a daughter and her father and friends started to want to sit together. And then the staff. We took the portraits of the staff. So you'll see quite a lot of just portraits of people from the center. And I think even without the poem, those portraits really tell a story as well. They tell a story of the people who work at the center and the people who are clients of the center.